Welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast, the ultimate home for wrestling enthusiasts, beer drinkers, movie quoters, and pop culture connoisseurs. Here are your hosts, Matt and Ryan.
Hello there, Average Nobody's fans. This is the Average Nobody's Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, it's good to meet you.
Hey, it's a pleasure. We just found each other on Craigslist, and here we are.
Here we are. It's the 45th episode of the Average Nobody's Podcast, which, if you're keeping track, that adds up to almost, we're creeping up on a year. With one a week, we're creeping up on a year of podcasts. We did take that little hiatus, but, you know, we've been going strong. When did we pick back up? What episode did we pick? Like early 20s, right?
Yeah. This has been a good 4 months, 4 month stretch.
Yeah, definitely 4 months. Definitely 4 months, maybe a little longer than that. Yeah, so pretty awesome. Yeah, let's get right into it. So, update on my neighbor.
Oh boy.
Listen, it's getting bad. It's getting worse. Somehow it's getting worse.
Is it the same car?
It's the same car, but now I found out that. So anyway, update to the people who haven't been listening to this episodic saga. My neighbor that lives across the street in an apartment building parks her car in front of my house, which is fine, completely legal, again. But she parks it in front of my walkway and in front of my mailbox and parks half in the street. It's such an inconvenient spot for her to park because we have 4 people living in my house and we all like to have our cars away from each other so we don't block each other in the driveway and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, it'd be nice to have that spot. But then I find out that she also has someone else living with her that drives another car, and sometimes that car isn't parked in front of my house. So when one car isn't, the other one is, and sometimes both of them are. So it's getting bad, so I've resorted. I've taken action, Ryan, and I haven't gone up and talked to them like a normal human being because that's not what I'm going to do here. I got traffic cones out of my garage, and now I put traffic cones in front of my house so nobody parks there. It's an aggressive move. I'm not going to deny it.
It sends the correct message.
It definitely sends the correct message. The other thing I also do is when you pull, you've been to my house. When you pull up to the house on the right, it's on the you're traveling up the street. You pass it. It's on your right. I guess that gives no context to anybody. I'm trying to explain how to So the driveway's on the left side of the house, and the rest of the street, is to the right, and the house is to the right, and then the rest of my front yard is to the right. So they park, we'll say, south of the driveway, right? So what I've been doing is, if I get to my house after work and there's nobody there, I'll pull up, but not all the way to the edge of my driveway like I normally do. I'll pull up 3/4 of the way up. That way there's not enough room for someone to park a car in front of me, or else they'll block my driveway. And it's far enough back where even if they park behind me, it doesn't really matter. They're parked way in front of my garage. So I do that little move too. So it's been a struggle.
You think it's going to be interesting Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Saturday's going to be interesting for the whole street, gotta be honest. There's going to be a lot of cars on the street. And there's already a ton of people that park on the road on my street, so it's gonna be interesting.
An alarming number of people.
It's an alarming number of people. It is. There's a lot of people that park on the street in my neighborhood. So, yeah, that should be interesting. That should be real good. Anyway, yeah, that's my update with my neighbor. No, I haven't never spoken to them before in my life. Apparently, Lindy's met them. One of the ladies' names is Marjorie. I don't know who the other person is.
Marjorie.
But Marjorie, you've been put on notice. If you listen to this podcast, please cease and desist.
I didn't think real people had that name.
Marjorie.
Just like the queen who died in what? Right? Was that her name? Marjorie?
Marjorie? On Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah. Marjorie, granddaughter of the Queen of Thorns.
Queen of Thorns. What an interesting name.
It's nice. I like it. That's a good one. That's a pretty badass name. As far as Game of Thrones names or monikers go, Queen of Thorns is pretty good.
Queen of Thorns is good.
Yeah.
So we got some stupid, frustrating news. If you're really I'm not even a huge MMA fan, but this is just so frustrating.
Yeah. It's not even frustrating at this point. It's just fucking stupidity. And it's I just don't have no sympathy anymore. It's ridiculous. You want to explain what's going on?
I blogged about it earlier today, and it like every time I see stuff like this, whether it's like anyone famous who's just really just throwing it away for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Like the guy's clearly uber talented. I mean, maybe he didn't think he could beat Daniel Cormier without a little extra help, but you're getting tested by the USADA. Like they're gonna catch you.
Yeah, they're gonna catch you,
especially with steroids. Yeah. Especially with steroids. Like you're not even trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah. So John Jones got found out for steroids again.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
Dana White, like I've never seen him so somber. Like when he had to do an interview, I think he's in Vegas for the McGregor fight. I'm assuming he's in Vegas, but he basically was saying that, you know, if it gets confirmed, which I don't know why it wouldn't, then he's going to have a multi-year suspension. It'll probably be, he probably won't fight in the UFC again. I mean, it would, barring like a miracle, which is ridiculous because he's one of the best fighters ever. He's really one of their only money guys now, especially like you don't know what's going to happen with McGregor after this fight, win or lose. Like the guy's obviously going to be set monetarily, so who knows if he's going to want to go back into getting punched in the face all the time.
Yeah, maybe not.
But this kind of coincides with one of our, you know, a segment we've done here in the past about who's losing the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, the internet beat John Jones.
Yeah.
Because
hold on. Before you say anything, let's lead into this.
Okay.
Let's get ready to rumble.
On this episode of People versus the Internet, it's John Jones versus his Twitter account.
Perfect intro.
That's what it is. It's himself versus his own Twitter account.
Yep. But so John Jones tweeted on July 21st. Daniel, meaning Daniel Cormier, says the only reason I defeated him the first time is because I must have been on steroids. Wonder what his excuse will be this time. Well, it's steroids.
It's steroids again. It's the same excuse.
Steroids again.
You can't just have that tweet just sitting out there. Just can't have it sitting out there.
The best person for these type of things is Trump because he literally has a tweet that is the opposite of what he says now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But for this one, John Jones, really came back to haunt him. And that was only a couple weeks. This was a month ago.
Yep. It's not great. It's really not good.
So John Jones, not only did you probably throw your entire career down the toilet, you lost the internet.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Here's a question. How does that affect his paycheck from that fight?
Well, he
gets a fine?
There's a couple different things. So it's the USADA is the one who does the drug test, but you also have the California Athletic Commission because that's the Las Vegas, Nevada Athletic Commission is the one that fined Lesnar,
right,
and suspended him,
right.
So it'll be the same thing once it's because he might appeal it and then they'll have to verify the test results, all that shit.
Ugh.
But yeah, he's definitely facing. Lesnar got fined $500,000.
Jeez.
I mean, he didn't win any title, so he just got. I think he got a 18-month suspension or something like that.
Yeah.
But the only thing, this is Jones's second offense or third offense.
Yeah, I think it's his third offense.
Because he tested positive for cocaine.
Yeah, not great.
Before.
Not a great.
He got stripped of a title for a hit and run, like he hit a woman and broke her arm.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to think what was the last time he got. I know he got stripped one other time, and that was it, right? That
was like their conduct policy than failing anything, but not a good sign when you do a hit and run.
Looks like Dana White's gonna be looking for the next big guy because he's John. I got a feeling John Jones has fought his last fight in the UFC.
Yeah. It's tough though because like I was talking to Mike D about it because he's very into the MMA. Like he watches all the undercard guys. He's like, there are guys who are undefeated, these supreme fighters, but they're not making any money because no one gives a shit because they don't like. You need that personality, that something that's going to draw people to you. You know, like people are drawn to McGregor and people are drawn to John Jones. Even Daniel Cormier, like he's a great fighter, but is he going to sell a fight if he's the main? You know what I mean? He needs John Jones to sell the fight.
Yeah,
he can't sell a fight on his own. So UFC, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely lacking for stars. Not that they don't have talented fighters, but it's the difference between being a talented fighter and being like a main attraction.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So we'll see.
That'll be interesting, right?
It will be. And sticking with the boxing, I guess, mixed martial arts to boxing. With the big fight, the big money fight, Saturday night, Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. We've talked about it before when they announced the fight, but who you got? Just who you got?
Mayweather.
Yeah.
It's Mayweather. I mean, there's nothing I would like more than for McGregor to win, but the smart money is on Mayweather. He's the best boxer in the world.
For a reason.
Yeah, maybe like one of the best ever. And it's totally different. MMA, and I'm not an expert with fighting. Like, what I know best is professional wrestling. It's very far from these two sports. Boxing and UFC are so different. Mayweather is so fast, he's gonna tire McGregor out, and it's probably not gonna be a flashy win, but he's gonna win. It's gonna be decision probably.
You know what's kind of surprised me is how Mayweather's like approached this buildup. Like at first he's very cocky, but now he's like given in all his interviews, he's like, "Oh, Conor's got a chance. You know, you never know. He could beat me." Like that's interesting. He never struck me as someone who would be like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I also heard that he's been giving money to his people to put money on himself in Vegas. Like a lot of money, like $5 million, a lot of money. Like on himself, but it's like the payout is only $1 million. If he puts $5 million down to win $1 million, and he's already making like $250 million on the fight anyway.
Right.
So it's like, why would you do that to win $1 million? But that's what the word on the street is that he's betting on himself pretty heavily. So this could just be I don't really follow Mayweather that closely. So
he just doesn't strike me as someone who would be so. You know, he strikes me as someone who would be as cocky as he, like, you know, just like another McGregor, just supremely confident, bordering on very, very cocky.
I love McGregor. He's amazing. He like as far as like the weigh-ins and like the the press conferences and stuff. He's amazing. He's so electric, and his accent. It's like he's straight out of a movie. Honestly,
he really is.
He's just like a street fighter from Dublin, Ireland. Like
walking around all wanky.
Yeah, and the stuff he wears too is amazing, wild. Like the stuff he wears, I love it. So flamboyant. Like I hope he does fight again in the UFC, but I don't know. But yeah, I got Mayweather this weekend. I will be one of those 4.6 million buys. If they break that record.
Yep. Yeah, Mayweather Pacquiao's got their pay-per-view record, 4.6 mil. I have to imagine it's going to break that.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what it would be, but it's going to break that. But I'll be one of those buys, one of the record-breaking buys, because I will have everybody over on Saturday and we'll all watch it together.
We will.
So
it's gonna be fun.
Is there anybody else worth on the card? Like what other fights are there?
I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I honestly probably wouldn't recognize any of them.
I think they're probably not going to fight until like 1 a.m. Right?
Yeah, they'll fight pretty late. I think it starts at 9, and they probably will. I mean, they're in the main event, so it depends. They'll probably come on around mid because it's in Vegas too.
Yeah.
So like they can't like fight at 5 p.m. like Vegas time, even though it would work better for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to imagine it's going to break the pay-per-view buy record. That Pacquiao Mayweather fight made over $400 million in revenue. This will probably break that as well. Just from like seeing the reaction on Twitter and the way people are like glued to these press conferences. Like they're not even at the actual fight yet.
Yeah, that's crazy money. That's crazy money.
$400 million. Like
I've never understood that. Like how Mayweather makes so much money on every one of his fights, and like even like other big guys, like other big boxers, not even as big as him, like they bring home so much money.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird. I feel like, what does the Super Bowl make? I know like the thing is like you don't have pay-per-view buys, but you know what I mean? Like what's the equivalent? Like that's so much money.
Yeah, I mean pay-per-view. Well, because the Super Bowls would be more like advertising revenue.
Sure. Yeah. What is WrestleMania bringing for pay-per-views? Let's go with like the old model, like not the new network. Like what was like what was like the highest rated pay-per-view for WrestleMania? Do you know like offhand?
A million buys.
A million buys is like big.
Yeah, I think Rock Cena. Hold on. I think it was Rock Cena 1 or Rock Cena 2. Was
the most?
Yeah. Like, let's see.
$400 million is fucking crazy. So much money. I wouldn't be surprised if Mayweather McGregor does half a billion.
Yeah. I mean,
That's completely possible.
yeah, because they're definitely WWE's never done two.
Not only are you getting like this huge hyped up fight, you're merging two sports, like two fan bases. You're getting a ton of people that would have bought an MMA pay-per-view, and you're getting a ton of people that would have bought a boxing pay-per-view, and you're putting them all together. So who knows? What was that?
So it's WrestleMania 28, like Rock Cena, 1.2, like 1.217 buys.
Oh my god.
1.217 viewers.
Damn.
Which is a lot. I mean, it's
a lot. It's microscopic compared to.
But yeah, that's like a quarter of what this will do. Shit. That's unreal.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I got Mayweather 2 just based off of logic, I guess.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I also I'm excited and I understand like the excitement behind this and why it's so crazy, but like I said, I think it's gonna be a boring fight.
I do too.
I mean, it's not like McGregor's mic'd up and you can't hear him talk the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's gonna be putting on a show for however long they box for.
That's the best part of his shtick, his gimmick, is sharing him yap.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be cocky as fuck in the ring.
Yes.
He's going to be so cocky. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you get like the hands, like, you know, a very extreme version of like when boxers like put their hands down behind their back and like put their chin out and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get a very extreme version of that, whatever that is, whatever McGregor decides to make that. All right. Let's enough fighting talk. Well, let's get into more fighting talk, but different kinds of fighting talks. Fighting with dragons. Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 6, titled Beyond the Wall. Ryan, what did you think?
It was top 2 or 3 for me.
It was ever. It was so good. This season has been so good. It's been amazing. Like this has been the most quality. I think the most quality episodes like for any season that there have been.
Yeah, there's no wasted moments. No. There's no wasted time. I wish this was the pace that they kept throughout the series, but then again, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many payoffs. There's so many. You're getting so much. This is like it's a little bit of fan service. It's a little bit of everybody's getting. You get instant gratification in a lot of times this season, which is not something that Game of Thrones fans are used to. So I think that's what changed it. It's totally different than any other season, but it still holds the same like essence that is Game of Thrones. The reason why people like the show in the first place. So, I mean, they've been doing a crazy stand-up job. You know a little bit about the director of this one?
Yeah, so his name's Alan Taylor. This was actually his 7th Game of Thrones episodes that he directed.
Okay.
The first one since 2012. He did a couple in the first season, and he did 3 or 4 in the second season. But the cool thing is he directed the episode, season 1, episode 10, called Fire and Blood, where Dany actually gave birth to the dragons.
Okay.
You know, like when she's like in the fire and like the dragons appear on her shoulder, like the eggs crack.
Yes.
And now he helmed the episode where she lost one of her children, one of her dragons. But that was kind of a cool fun fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a Game of Thrones veteran. Obviously, did a fantastic job, and it's cool because it was definitely an episode with 2 very drastic different parts. I mean, you had the character study of Sansa and Arya, and then you just had this insane battle with the Magnificent. I don't know what their nickname is. Just
so yeah. Before we get to the battle beyond the wall, let's talk about Arya and Sansa. Let's talk about what happened between them. So we know last episode, Littlefinger set up that whole elaborate, meeting with the Maester, not the Meister, the Maester, and he like finds that note that Sansa wrote to Robb to come to King's Landing and bend the knee to Joffrey and whatnot. And so Arya found it and obviously was not happy because King Joffrey was a dick. And then they have this weird interaction in Sansa's chambers, right?
Yeah, I think it like. I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but this is what I want to happen. So maybe my brain is forcing itself to go this way. But I think that Arya is somehow setting up Littlefinger.
You think so?
I do. I'm going a complete 180. I know at the beginning of the season we talked about how we both thought Littlefinger was going to be the one on the throne. I think he picked the wrong enemy.
Yeah, it's true, but
into the buzz. He's running into the buzzsaw.
I know. Trust me. You don't want to cross. There's two people you don't want to cross in Game of Thrones. It's Arya and it's Littlefinger. So this is very interesting because I really think that from this episode, it gave me the impression that Littlefinger is out of the loop. Like he set this trap and then he backed out and he just is watching it happen now. So like I know that Arya doesn't trust Littlefinger, but it almost made it seem like like Sansa and him are working together, but it's like more on Sansa than it is on Littlefinger. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I thought Arya was gonna kill Sansa right there, and then like take her face and become Sansa for the rest of the episode. Like in
See, and I think they set it up that way to show her like, yes, she's this assassin, serial killer, psychopath, but Sansa's still her sister. So like she's not just. She doesn't just have the one mode.
Yeah, she really does not like Sansa though. She really has a lot of disdain.
The one thing that kind of threw me off was like, because obviously Arya would have no idea of like what Sansa had to go through. I mean, it doesn't look good when you married not only a Lannister but then a Bolton.
Yes,
but she doesn't know like what she's had to endure. But the one thing that she mentioned I was kind of like, ooh, that's a little too far. Was basically insinuating or straight up saying that like she was happy the day Ned died. When we know that's not true, and Arya was in the crowd too. Like she saw Sansa like falling apart about it.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing for her to mention, and I think it was like a test.
Yeah.
So she's saying it to Sansa to see how she's going to react.
Yeah, probably a little bit of that. I would say. Yeah. I think that the passing of the dagger is very interesting here.
Because everyone's had it. Because Bran had it, gave it to Arya. Now Arya had it, gave it to Sansa.
Yeah.
So how does that play in? I mean, I'm assuming they've shown and mentioned this dagger way too often for it not to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't know where it's going from here. But now Sansa has it. Which is interesting because I wonder what Littlefinger's going to think of that. Because like he gave it to Bran, and somehow it ended up back by his side in Sansa's hands. You know?
Yeah. So I wonder if he like somehow, because like obviously they didn't show him. So does like he even know that Arya and Sansa have had this blow up?
Yeah. I don't know. Well,
it's fair because I can see. I mean, I understand both sides of it because again, Sansa looks bad, but she's endured awful things, and Arya has been driven by revenge. I mean, she didn't stay where Sansa was, but she went off and learned these skills and endured her own personal hell as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the Faceless Man training was like a walk in the park.
Yeah, or dealing with the waif.
Yes.
So I don't know, and now. Her sending off her meaning Sansa sending off Brienne is interesting too. Why? I feel like that is another move. I feel like that's another Littlefinger move, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, because he was like whispering in her ear.
Yeah,
like saying Brienne should go to because they send her to King's Landing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right. So I think she's
like this is a stupid move, but she's. Been sworn to basically do whatever the Stark siblings say, but she's like, she knows how dumb of a move it is. Like, why you should not be alone with Littlefinger. You just shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
She can't trust them.
She's gonna see Jaime again.
Yeah,
which will be interesting.
I don't know. I mean, that's the one where I just don't know. I'm hoping it's Arya and Sansa working together to get back at Littlefinger. But there's nothing that Littlefinger's done this whole series that should really convince me that this is the end for him. He always comes out on top somehow.
Right. I mean, there's really no even if Arya knew that Littlefinger did that whole setup, Arya is probably glad that she found that piece of paper. Like she probably would want to know the truth and you know what I mean? Like that. It's not like it's not a piece of fiction. Like
no, it's not. I mean, it just. She doesn't know the whole story behind it.
It's truth. It's like that is the truth. Like, so, like, Littlefinger, besides, like, conning Sansa, and Sansa's not going to kill Littlefinger. Like, you know, you didn't really do anything to Arya. You know, I mean,
that would screw. And the only thing is, like, if something does happen to Littlefinger and the Lords of the Vale leave, like, now you're kind of screwing Jon over with his army.
Yeah, absolutely. They need the Vale. They need the Vale. So, all right, you want to move north now? I mean,
yeah,
really,
I think we should.
Really, there was only two sides. I'm trying to think what else happened in this episode.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Right? It was the North, and it was a little bit of Dragonstone, and it was Winterfell. Right? It was
because they even had there was like 5 to 8 minutes dedicated to just like them getting before they even met the White Walkers. So that was like part of it, and then you had multiple scenes with Sansa and Arya and Littlefinger and Brienne.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was pretty much the battle and all that pertained. Now,
while it was kind of boring, I liked the lead up to the fight. I mean, boring compared to the huge battle.
Actual action.
I mean, I love the interaction between the characters who really haven't had a chance to interact.
No, it was one of my favorite parts, just the dialogue between them. And, and a lot of important things were said, too.
Yeah, and I know you tweeted out, it's like, all I need is I could listen to the Hound dialogue, like, for a whole episode. Oh, yeah. He's amazing. He says the same stuff over and over again. He says the same things over and over again, and he's great to listen to, and you know what, he's so predictable. His dialogue is so predictable, it doesn't make it any less, like, amazing. It doesn't make it any less perfect. I love it. I particularly liked the conversation between Jon and Jorah with the Longclaw.
Yes.
How Jon wanted to give it to Jorah, and Jorah was like, "Well, no, I betrayed my family." Can you fill me in? What's the deal with that? I know that he was like shamed by his family because they did that, you know, previously on Game of Thrones, and they showed his dad talk about him, how he was like not his son anymore or whatever. What did he do to be so like shunned by his family?
I'm trying to remember.
Did he like? I mean, did they even really go into a lot of detail, or is it just kind of like an unspoken thing that we're just supposed to take as, you know?
I have a feeling we've been told it.
Yeah.
Why Jorah was shunned by his family.
It's something with the war. He abandoned the Night King.
Because I was just Holly's listening, but it's I'm pretty sure it's something about basically him like taking Dany's side over his family.
Right. So, but didn't he was also for a time, right? Wasn't he working for the Lannisters, and wasn't he trying to poison Dany? Like, wasn't that the whole thing like really early on?
He's had an interesting.
Yeah, he's had an interesting journey. So maybe he just wasn't loyal to his house or whatever. And then you had the conversation between the Hound and Tormund about Brienne, which was hilarious, which was just so perfect. And you got Tormund just waxing poetically about Brienne in his own way, and then the Hound like a light bulb goes off and you can see it, and he's talking about Brienne, and then he's like oh, what is he said something about her being like cold or whatever, and all this like terrible things, and then Tormund like could not be pushed away from her, like it was like, oh, you have met her, like all those things that the Hound, all the terrible things were supposed to be endearing, like about Brienne. I just love Tormund. I love he like comes from a different background than the rest of the people. He's like the opposite, you know. He's kind of like the humor that Batista as Drax brings to Guardians of the Galaxy, that like to this crew. You know what I mean? He comes from a different angle, a different perspective. It's really funny. So I thought that was particularly funny, and I really like that. Giant baby making. Your little thing on the outline. It's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if Tormund will meet up with Brienne again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but man can dream.
I don't know.
And then the Beric and Jon conversation was actually, and something I didn't put together because this was like way back from season 1, but like Beric was instructed by Ned Stark to like gather, you know, his men and go kill Gregor Clegane.
Yes.
The mountain killed him, right?
Yeah. And he was brought back.
Wonder now if like now that he's survived and he's there, like if he'll actually fulfill that.
Here's the thing.
Because now you have really two people who could try to take out the mountain. You have obviously the Hound and Barrick.
So, which is interesting because they're both separated right now, right? Or from what we got from the end of that last episode, it seems like Barrick stayed with Tormund at Eastwatch.
Yeah.
And the Hound went with the rest of the crew. I'm assuming they're going to King's Landing, right? I'm assuming they're going straight to...
They're going straight to Cersei.
They're going straight to Cersei. Are they? But I feel like, don't they have to stop somewhere? Like, don't they? Because, like, Daenerys is not with them, right?
No, she was with Jon on the ship.
Right. So,
I think
maybe they were on that ship, too. Maybe they were on that ship as well.
Yeah, because, I mean, the photos from the finale have Jon meeting Cersei, so...
Yeah, and
they're clearly going there quickly.
Like, do they have to go pick up Tyrion? Like, was Tyrion with them? Like, I'm not trying to get into semantics. I don't want to sound like all the people that are online that are complaining about the Ravens flying too fast and whatnot. But you know what I mean. I'm just trying to see this. Because I really want Jon Snow to stop back in Winterfell. Like, I want him to see Arya. Like,
Doesn't seem like that's...
It's killing me.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen this at least this season. But who knows? It's an 80-minute episode. It's like 84 minutes or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep, longest
I can't wait.
I mean, give me 184 minutes. I could still watch more.
Like,
I'm so pumped for it.
It's 10 minutes longer than the second longest episode, which is the season finale last season 6.
Yeah.
Which was it was a long episode, but I remember wanting more. So 10 more minutes is, that would be nice. That would be good.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the way that this season of Game of Thrones is going, it's going to be jam packed with stuff. All right, so anyway, so they're talking, they meet up, and then they find this rogue party of a White Walker and a bunch of the Army of the Undead. So they're like, "This is our chance."
Well, they had the polar bear too.
Oh, right, that's right. Was that the polar bear was first?
Yeah, right. The polar bear was first.
Yes, that was crazy. That was wild.
And that was like filmed so frantically that I was like, I was assuming they weren't just gonna murder like one of the main guys right then and not make it a big deal. But the polar bear was like ripping people apart. And I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
oh man, that was crazy. That was really cool.
Here's my problem. The one problem I had with this episode, the one problem I've had with Game of Thrones this season. How many random motherfuckers did they have with them?
They had like a couple like guides, I guess.
But the thing is, a couple guides is fine. But when they showed everybody walking out of the wall, there was a very select few in that group, right?
Yeah.
But then even at the battle on the rock around the frozen lake, there was like guys going down left and right, and I kept being like, who the fuck was that? So did someone just die? Like, how many people can they possibly kill off before they start getting down to like the people that matter? I thought that was kind of crazy how they I mean, this is this very small nitpick, but they're definitely let on that there was less people than they killed off. I just thought that was it was just in my head, didn't like click. I don't know. There was just something weird about that.
I will say, like, the battle sequence and like those scenes, like those were very not Game of Thrones-esque.
What do you mean?
It's like it's there's usually much more like I would say logic, I guess, put into those type of scenes.
Sure.
But I didn't mind it because of how crazy the action was, but it was very easy to like make points like you just made.
Yeah. So anyway,
like
when
Gendry just being the fastest man. Oh, just run back. Excuse me? Run back.
Run. He's the fastest. Does it really matter? We're out in the mountains. And we're out. There's a lot. Also, it's like when the Night King like sees like one person running, like, are we not going to like send some of these people to like follow him? I mean, again, I don't want to nitpick. It was fucking awesome.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, usually that you can't poke a lot of holes in those scenes.
Yes.
And I think they probably, if I was the writers, I probably would have thought about that too and then been like, yeah, but we have a Night King throwing an ice javelin through a dragon.
Yeah.
Like, what are people going to talk about after?
They're not going to talk about Gendry like running away. Yeah, you're right.
But realistically, I mean, you run into a white polar bear. You know, like a white, they spelled the WIGHT polar bear.
Yeah.
Like the undead polar bear. That you're probably.
That was scary. That was scary. That was cool.
You know what? It's not worth it. Let him win.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I was like, we know what happens at the end of this episode. But when I saw that, like, I know I had seen like theories, and I know it. we had talked about it the other night. Like, all of us and Holly had said, like, you know, what happens at the end of this episode happens. And I was like, I wasn't sure. And then when I saw the polar bear, I was like, oh, damn, that it's going to happen. Like, we're showing more animals now, turning into White Walkers. Like,
so it shows that, like, they can be turned as well.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going to be great for Danny's Dragons this episode. Not going to be great.
And a key of that, as you were saying before, when they met the small White Walker search party.
Yeah.
Was John killing the actual White Walker, the one with the blue eyes, and the rest of them just
die, except for one, which is the one they captured, right?
Yes,
except for one. Yeah, so it's they said it's like the one that turns them. They think it's the one that turns them is the one that if you kill them, it kills all of them, which honestly makes it a lot more. It seems like a little more manageable now to kill the army of the dead. You gotta kill.
Trying to kill thousands of those. Like, that's just not.
The only problem is it's getting to those White Walker guys. They're not just like, you know, walking around willy nilly like that.
No, they always seem to be on higher ground.
Yeah, but John's been pretty good at killing White Walkers at this point. He's killed 2, right? At least 2.
Yeah.
Like, you know, at Hardhome he killed one the same way, like it just disintegrated at the hand of Longclaw. Yeah, and so then their plan worked. They captured the dead guy, and then all of a sudden, you know, he started shrieking, and called the rest of the boys over, which was shocking. And then of course they run onto a frozen lake, and they're trapped in the middle, and they're surrounded on all sides. And then so that's right. I didn't miss any major plot points up until that point, right? They're surrounded on all sides.
Because they send Gendry, and then like the White Walkers are getting at them, and then thankfully the ice isn't frozen over, so they all kind of just fall in the lake.
Yeah,
which is it's kind of interesting because then you saw some of the whites like see that and stop. Mm-hmm. We're like, I'm conditioned to see the Walking Dead zombies who just. They're brainless.
Yeah.
They just go move forward based on their sense of smell or sight or whatever.
Right.
But these ones were actually like noticing things and making adjustments, which was kind of cool.
Right.
So they stopped and waited. Like they stopped and just waited until something happened. And at first you're like, oh, well, and Thoros dies.
Yeah.
As they had to wait overnight.
Yeah.
But we kind of both knew he was the one that, if someone was going to go, it was going to be him.
Yeah, definitely. So now Beric can't come back to life. That's interesting.
Right.
That's interesting with that plot right there. So then you get the scene where the Hound starts throwing rocks at the undead army, and I was like, I bet you a rock is gonna skip across there, and they're gonna realize again with their smarts. I guess they still have some of their brain left.
Yeah, it's kind of scarier.
Yeah, right. So they're not just they're just not mindless puppets. They actually can think for themselves, and so they see that the lake is not frozen. The lake is frozen, and then they charge, and then another huge fight scene goes down, which we think that Tormund is going to get. I thought Tormund was going to die in the worst way.
That was close. That's the way they were filming it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he got tackled by a million of them. He's like, and it's like one of those things. Like, if that was a scene from The Walking Dead, he would have already been eaten. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been killed right there. And then and then you're like, oh well, maybe he'll fight his way out. And then the people grab his feet and are gonna drag him into the water. And you're like, oh fuck, that's it. It's gonna be fucking gut wrenching, like him dying and shit. And then who saves the day at that point?
Hound.
The Hound, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He had to redeem himself with throwing that rock. Really screwed everybody. Big mental error.
He did. So he made up for that, and then later on he also saved Jorah from falling off the dragon. Imagine that, you survive the whole thing
and then you fall off the dragon. Yeah. The Hound must have not been happy when the dragon showed up. For him to be scared of like a polar bear that was on fire, he must have not been happy for the dragons to show up breathing fire. God. Like, he's not great with fire as it is. He couldn't have been happy.
No, there's no way. But he made up for it. He saved Tormund and did save Jorah. But, what you're going to remember this episode for a million years from now is what the Night King did.
Yep.
Cool, calm, collected in the pocket.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you could contrast it a couple episodes ago to when Braun was trying to get it with the machine, and he's frantically moving the machine, and it just kind of shows you like how fucked the humans really are.
Yes.
Because this guy literally just walked over, calmly grabbed his javelin, and hit a moving target, hit a flying dragon.
He got it no problem, and he got it right in the spot where it so much blood. Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal. Poor dragon. I was like, the second it happened, I was like very upset, and then I immediately turned the panic because I was like, now they have a dragon. Like now I knew this was going to happen. Like I knew they were going to have a dragon now. Like
once he hit it with the javelin or spear or whatever, like you knew it was theirs.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but for some reason like I feel like Kit Harington and oh god, what's Daenerys' real name?
Emilia Clarke.
I feel like their acting has stepped up like tenfold this season because like the look on her face when the dragon goes down is like literally looks like one of her children got stabbed. Like that is the look of a mother's face, like of one of her children dying.
Yeah,
like,
I've noticed
absolute panic on her face.
Their like non-verbal acting has been awesome.
Yeah.
Also, how about that power suit?
That
white power suit.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Love that.
That's the suit you use to ride a dragon.
Right.
You can't just wear any old outfit.
Right. Especially north into the snow. Like you gotta. Absolutely.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like you kind of knew, like she was going to the dragon well a little too often.
Yeah.
I mean, not.
Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. Of course.
But you knew it was gonna backfire, and
you got to play the hits. You got to play the hits. Like that.
Shoot.
Yeah. And so you knew they weren't going to go into two battles, and the dragons were going to get away unscathed both times. Because it seems like Drogon is recovered from his injuries. I'd say.
I believe so. Yeah. Right? He's the most one, right?
Yeah. So dragon goes down. Everybody hops up on Drogon.
I like Drogon.
Drogon. And then they start to fly away, but then Jon is the one that's left, and he realizes that the Night King is like setting up for another shot, and he's not going for one of the ones in the air now. He's going for the one that's on the ground, picking up everybody, which does not bode well for them. And like he tells them to take off, like leave me, sacrifices himself. You know, the most selfless guy in Westeros right now.
He really is.
Jon Snow, always just sacrificing himself. And luckily the dragon just gets away because I don't think I could have handled two dragons going down.
That would have been tough.
That would have been rough. So you see Jon Snow he gets like dragged under or like falls into the water with
he gets like tackled into the water.
Right.
And then it's like, well, I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to die, but at the same time I was like, oh, how's he get out of this one? And somehow they don't show you how he gets out of the water.
No.
I mean, they show him get out of the water, but they don't show him how he defeated the whites in the water. But he makes it out, and then unfortunately there are many, many more whites waiting for him.
Many more.
But we got another hero who saves the day.
Uncle Benjen. I knew he was coming. Knew it.
And yeah, because he's half White Walker, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to explain that to my mom and to Lindy, but they don't remember that storyline. I was like, yeah, he's like he couldn't come past beyond the wall because he's like half dead. Like, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah, because his story is like, you know, because he was explaining to Jon like the magic of the wall, and you know, he's like, it's more than just ice and stone. There's magic in there.
Yeah.
And if you're a White Walker, you can't go beyond the wall, which is why like people are like, oh, like, you know, they both could have fit on that horse. Well, he can't go beyond the wall. What's he gonna do? Ride the horse?
It didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he saved the day, which was pretty badass with that like flaming. What the hell was that?
It looked like so when I used to be an altar server, it looked like one of those things that you like put the incense in, and then the priest like clangs it around and like throws incense right in your face. Yeah. So it reminded me of that, and like it looks like if a priest just like lit it on fire and started swinging it around the church, knocking people in the head.
Everyone leave!
This is terrible.
But another cool tidbit that I found had to do with Uncle Benjen, and it was when the Night's Watch turned their back on Jon, they got him to like go to where he was by saying that Uncle Benjen was waiting for him.
Oh yeah,
and that went and stabbed him, and now Uncle Benjen actually rescued him.
Yeah, yep. So good.
Which is pretty cool.
And he didn't get imagine it was all the same people like as White Walkers like waiting for him, and they just stabbed him.
Like, oh, not again.
Not again. I want to I want to rewind quick. So when John comes out of the water, right, and grabs Longclaw, did you see this online? Did you see this whole thing?
No.
So anyway, there's this video online that you guys should all look up. There's when John when it's the second he pops up out of the water, it looks like Longclaw's eyes like open. Like the wolf head on the handle, it looks like the eyes open.
Huh.
It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I know that there's like this
Longclaw did something when they was underwater and like,
or it's almost like when John like comes like back, like when he comes out from like where you think he's dead and he comes back and like the eyes open and like he's like when he's with the sword, it's like part of him. Like it's some kind of magic going on. They contacted the director of the episode, some media company did, and the director says it has nothing to do with the show, but it's a pretty. I mean, it's very evident that this happens. So I'm curious. They slow it down. It's only like for a split second, but you should check it out. Search it, and everybody that's listening too, check this out online. It's like a slow motion video of Longclaw. I mean, you'll be able to, if you Google it, you'll be able to see it. Okay. So I just thought that was interesting. I don't know if it's something or if it's just like something, crazy happened where it's just like by mistake, whatever. But it looks like Longclaw's eyes open, which is kind of cool. Especially since this episode kind of featured that sword a lot. You know? They had a whole conversation about it with Jorah.
And I think like it's really only gonna reach its full, like it's meant to be with John. So that was key of Jorah, because I remember watching it. And Holly's like, "No, it's not yours. You can't have it." Like, so I'm glad that John kept it.
Yeah. So John makes it back to the wall on the horse. He's frozen solid. They put him on the boat. Daenerys sees that he's clearly been stabbed through his heart a few times. So clearly he has died, right? I mean, does she get it? Does she get he has been dead before?
She has to.
Right? That had to have been what that meant.
You gotta pick up on the hints.
There's like 5 giant holes right around his heart. Like, he's been dead before. So, you get that. So they're heading to King's Landing with the dead guy. Man, I mean, so next week, right? Is there anything we missed this episode? Anything else you still want to talk about?
Then, well, just like the Night King touching Viserion rather than like raising him out. So we basically turned Viserion into a White Walker.
Yeah.
Which a couple questions I have with that is, one, does he breathe ice now instead of fire? And 2, if he hits people with ice, do they turn into whites?
That's kind of wild. I don't know. So that would change, like how I was saying before, if you kill one of the White Walkers, it kills a bunch of the people that follow it and that they turned it. So that would completely put it back in the White Walkers' favor, because now they can just turn a bunch of people at once.
That's what I mean. Like, instead of like spraying them with fire and killing them, you spray them with ice and turn them.
That's interesting. I don't know.
That's just, you're turning full armies in seconds.
I got to imagine it's gonna breathe ice. I think. I mean, I guess it could still breathe fire. I guess. I don't know.
It's interesting.
I got to tell you something, though. I got to imagine that the Night King is going to be flying on that dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, he's going to be riding that dragon and throwing ice javelins from its back.
I feel bad for the horse. It's like, you know what? He served him so well. Oh, that old-looking horse. Now it's it. You're old news. I got the dragon now.
Maybe Benjen will be full White Walker now, and he'll ride the horse. Because John obviously took his, so.
But yeah, so I think that's it for that episode, and then we got, like you said, we got next week. The title is The Dragon and the Wolf.
Yep. Which
is badass.
Yep. So we're talking about Dany and Jon, right? We're led to believe, at least.
Well, I think because what is Jon's nickname? The Wolf? Isn't it like the Young Wolf or something? Or the
young. Well, no, the Young Wolf was Robb.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, the Young Wolf was Robb, and obviously Dany is the dragon, I guess. But who could? Here's my next question: is Ghost still out there, or is Ghost dead?
I think Ghost is still out there.
Ghost is still out there.
No, because wasn't Wolf the name of one of the
direwolves?
No, it wasn't.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I think. Well, what I think is, I think this title is leading us to believe it's Danny and John, but I think it might have another meaning too, like maybe a double meaning.
I'm gonna look it up quick because I don't think it's Danny and John.
The Dragon and the Wolf. The Wolf. Did you see that hackers have holding the season finale hostage?
Just let it go. Like, can you do something more productive?
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, I guess it could be Danny and Jon Snow, but this is what I read. It could mean the original dragon and wolf pairing, which is Rhaegar Targaryen, Lyanna Stark, which is Jon's parents.
Oh, so you think you'll find out this episode?
Like maybe that just becomes like public knowledge, you know? I mean, Bran knows, so maybe because Bran wasn't really in this last episode. Yeah, but I'm assuming they're all going to be in this. They're all going to be in the finale.
Do you think Bran is? Oh yeah, probably. So Lindy heard me from upstairs. Ghost is alive. She confirmed. She confirms. Just missing in action. So
shouldn't be missing anymore. Hey, you could have Ghost. You could have Nymeria come. I mean, we already saw Nymeria. You know, Nymeria wants.
Are those the only two direwolves left? Nymeria is like, she's going rogue, and in Ghost, is that it? Because
I think so.
Rickon's wolf got beheaded.
Yes.
Sansa's was killed.
Yep.
Rob's was also killed and stuffed on his head. So
not great.
Not ideal. Not ideal to be a wolf with the Starks. So yeah, next week it's going to be 80+ minutes long. That's awesome. Can't wait. It's also the season finale, which honestly, this went by too fast.
It really did.
I hate it. I hate that we're going to have to wait probably 15 to 16 more months for the next season. So long.
It definitely won't be here next summer. There's no way.
Oh, no, it's not going to be here next year. We're not going to see Game of Thrones again until 2019. Mark my words.
That's what a terrible, terrible thing.
They're starting late October this year. There's no way they're going to have it done. And they're not going to release it next fall, winter. They're going to do it in the spring. So,
yeah, because these are the best ratings they've ever had because there's no competition. It's so smart, and I love it actually because normally there'd be nothing to watch.
Yeah, it sucks. But anyway, I honestly might, and this is what I keep telling myself: in the absence of Game of Thrones, I might read all the books, just so I can really engross myself in it and be ready for the last season. So that's what I think. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Although I have a huge stack of books that I want to read that I haven't got to yet. So we'll see about that. I keep just reading comic books every week. Do you have any just give one prediction you have for the next episode? What do you think? One thing you think is going to happen?
Shoot. Jaime kills Cersei.
Ooh, I love that one. I love that, Ryan. One thing that I think is going to happen, I'm with you. I think that Jaime's going to kill. I want Jaime to kill Cersei. That would be fucking awesome.
Because it's gonna be I don't think she's pregnant, so I think somehow that's gonna come out, and maybe bringing the white doesn't convince her, but Jaime, Jaime
is convinced. He's pretty pragmatic. You know what I mean? If he sees this,
he's already kind of convinced that they should make friends with the woman with all the dragons. He's like, I don't really want to go out and fight these dragons again. I've seen them in action, and Cersei's like, nah, F that. You're gonna do it.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of things I think is going to happen, but I'm going to go with I think that Danny and John are going to find out their heritage.
Okay,
I'm going to go with that. So,
and that he's an actual.
He's a Targaryen.
That causes the rift.
That's the thing. That's very interesting, right? Because it very well could, but I don't think that they. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think that's going to change anything between them. Like, I think it'll change something between them in some aspects, but I don't think that John being the rightful heir to any kind, you know what I mean? I don't think he's really wants that. You know,
right? And at least not till, and they both understand the threat that the White Walkers pose too. So, like, for them to quabble over that is pretty silly.
Yeah, and also John bent the knee, not actually, but he, from his bed, he
called her Danny.
Yeah, that's right, and we haven't heard that, since her brother.
He didn't work out well for him.
No, which is weird too, because I feel like Danny is such a, like, I thought everybody calls her that, but really just fans of the show call her that.
I think that's what threw me off.
Yeah, because I was like, what?
It's a real. I mean, it makes sense as a nickname. Like, it's not like it would be like a personal nickname that had nothing to do with their actual name. But I think we just call her Danny so often that you think it happens in the show, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was funny. I was like, yeah, maybe we just call her that. I think that's it. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. We'll be back here next week talking about it, and in the meantime, we'll also have to come up with a show to watch. I think we should do Walking Dead. I think Walking Dead makes sense.
Yes.
Maybe do a couple more giveaways, but that doesn't start until October. So
we got something. We got something to watch. And we probably should pick something current. That way, it's something people are watching, and we can do that.
Exactly.
So maybe we'll find something.
We could even do like a Twitter poll, see what people want to hear us talk about.
Very, very, very true. We could do that. Definitely. All right, Ryan. Well, actually, you know what? What have you been watching this week? What's some new stuff you've been watching?
The Sinner. I'm gonna watch it right after we finish here. Jessica Biel. It's on the USA Network. It's on every Wednesday. This will be the 4th episode. It's like an 8-episode miniseries. It's so good.
Okay.
I can't recommend it enough. You can go on USA On Demand and watch all 3 episodes, and then the 4th one is tonight. But it's awesome. It's great TV. I've been watching that, and I've actually just started Harry Potter.
Oh, that's right, you did. That's awesome. How you liking it so far? I mean, I know you watched just the first movie.
Just the first one. We're gonna probably watch the second one on Sunday. Nice. But yeah, I mean, I knew I'd like it. It's just. It's making the time for it. Like, it's not like you're like, oh, I'm just going to go watch this half-hour TV show. It's like, no, I'm going to watch this 2.5-hour movie that is going to open my mind to a new universe with 6 other movies. Yeah. Like, you can't casually do that.
Yeah. I feel like Harry Potter is one of those things. It's like, people will always, like, bust your balls and be like, you got to watch it. Oh, come on. Like, you're not watching it. It's like, it's one of those things like, I got to watch it on my own time. It's not that I don't want to watch it. I just want to watch it on my own time. Like, when I watch it, I'm sure that I will enjoy it. I will watch it on my own time. Like, that's one of the, you know what I mean? Just, like, get off your back. I feel you on that.
But I did watch it. I really enjoyed it, so I will be watching the second one on Sunday.
Nice.
What about you? What's been on your slate?
A lot, actually, this week. So I had to watch the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant 4. We did Movie Club on that on Monday. Really enjoyed it. It's on Netflix. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I don't watch enough, like, animated movies like that. Because there's, like, so many other things that, like, pique my attention more. So I watched it. It was good. I liked it. It sucks because now Disney's doing their own streaming service, and they're going to be taking all their Disney movies off of Netflix soon. So you're not going to be able to watch movies like that anymore, on Netflix at least. What else have I been watching? Oh, I literally just finished The Defenders. The reason why I had to start a little bit late on this podcast was because I was watching the last episode of The Defenders on Netflix.
Good.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think they redeemed themselves from Iron Fist. Iron Fist was bad. It was the worst of all those Netflix Marvel shows.
Okay.
Didn't like it, but it led into this, pretty well, and they really redeemed themselves because you got the Luke Cage character. I forget his real name, and then you have Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and you have Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. And, Tyrell, what the hell is his real name? I don't know. But the guy on Game of Thrones who got the thing carved into his head and then it was blown up in the sept.
He plays one of them?
Marjorie's brother. Yeah, he's the Iron Fist.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the Iron Fist. So
is he better in this as like a complimentary character?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like his he had a whole season to it. So Daredevil's has had 2 seasons. Season 1 was just with Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and then season 2 you added in, I forget the woman's name who plays Elektra, but you have Elektra. She was awesome. And you also have the Punisher, who is John Berthal in Daredevil season 2. Then there's also Jessica Jones had her own season, Luke Cage had his own season, and the Iron Fist, the Immortal Iron Fist, had his own season, and he's the Immortal Iron Fist. And that was the one that happened in April, right before, the one before the Defenders. So it wasn't strong. It was the weakest of all of them, but the other ones were really good. So it kind of, you have to kind of like raise yourself to a new bar to keep up with those ones. But the Defenders was really good, like I said. And then the next one coming out is the Punisher. He gets his own season now.
I love that. John Berthal.
He was so good in Daredevil as the Punisher. So I'm so excited for him to get his own season.
Good for him. He's a great actor.
Yeah. He deserves all the roles he gets. He really is a great actor. I like him a lot. So I think that's it. I mean, I've been watching a lot of I watched like a lot of New Girl this week. That's just like stuff I put on all the time. And then I also watch Mystery Science Theater 3000. Have you ever watched that?
I have not.
It's on Netflix. So it used to be the show in I believe it was the late 90s. It's where these it's like a show within a show. So it's about this guy who works in space on a space station, and he gets captured by these evil people, and they force him to watch shitty movies, shitty science fiction movies to be exact. So the whole show is you watch a movie with this person and his two robot friends, and they just like crack jokes the entire time of the movie. It's really funny and really well written. This is the old show, and Netflix just picked it up and did a whole season of it. I believe it came out earlier this year, but Patton Oswalt's on it, and a few other like no names you don't really know, and then like they bring back the original voices of the robots and whatnot. But it's really funny, and the episodes are like an hour and 20 minutes each because you're watching a whole movie. But I like it. And the writing is really funny, so it makes it kind of cool to watch. So
I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it's like it's one of those shows. It's like either you get it or you don't. It's like either you'll really like it or it's like kind of like I can do without this. Yeah. But I've been telling everybody to like give it a shot because I think it's really funny. I would watch the new season because the old season can get kind of dry, but the new season is like more for the mainstream. So I would do that. And I think that's it. Oh, I watched Alien Covenant. I got it on Blu-ray, so I was watching the deleted scenes, and I watched the Ultimate Edition with all the deleted scenes like meshed back into the actual movie, so it made it like an extra 45 minutes longer, which that movie does not need to be 45 more minutes longer. But it was still
good. That's almost like a whole nother movie.
Yeah, it was. But it's good. I like that. I like that movie a lot, so I watched that as well. But that's it. Yeah. So I think that's it for this week. Good episode, Ryan.
Very good episode.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a winner for the Daenerys Targaryen giveaway. I do not have her name offhand, but she did win it. And she will be announced on Twitter, and I already have her address, which I will not give out on the podcast for obvious reasons. But your Daenerys, if you're listening, your Daenerys pop vinyl figure will be in the mail probably tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow, probably Friday. And you'll get it soon.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for entering. It was a very successful contest, and hopefully which I can't imagine we won't, but Walking Dead is just as popular. So we'll come up with some cool giveaways for that as well.
Totally.
Love to get some interaction from all the TV fans out there and people who love watching TV as much as we do. So that's awesome.
Excellent. Well, that's it for the Average Nobodies podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Find us on Twitter at Average Nobodies, on Instagram at Average Nobodies. Search for us on Facebook, The Average Nobodies, and we're on YouTube as well, youtube.com/The Average Nobodies. That's where you'll be able to find all of our original content. And until next week, this has been the Average Nobodies podcast. Ryan, thank you.
Matt, always a pleasure. Everyone, have a wonderful week. Hope you enjoy The Dragon and the Wolf, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.